Welcome to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, where we talk all things good food, good business, and good cars. And now, here is your host, Arnold Gasita, founder and CEO of Petra Automotive Products. Let's roll.
Today's show is a very special show, not just because of his business stature and the things that he is doing and has done, but also because he's a very, very, very close personal friend of mine. Maybe too personal. But today on the show, we have Francisco Gonzalez. We call him Pancho. I think most of the people in the industry call you Pancho, no?
Yes, I think if you say Francisco, somebody said,
Who's that guy? Who's that guy? So Pancho Gonzalez is really what most people, if not everybody, knows him by. I know his dear friends and people that do business with him. That's typically what they call him is Pancho. So Pancho, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Arnold.
I'm so happy to have you here and just to talk about you and your life and your success. Before we do any of that stuff, what is the most favorite place for you to travel? Your favorite place to go to?
Wow.
I have something in my mind. I just want to see what is your favorite place to go to?
I have a few, but if you ask me, where is it that you feel at home? You feel just because of many things, obviously including the food and the whole thing, the whole atmosphere would be Spain. But I have just a favorite place in Istanbul, in Turkey, and other places. But I would say Spain would be the complete experience for me. But I enjoy
Spain. In Spain I've only traveled to Barcelona, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
What city are you particularly like in Spain?
I love Madrid. I mean, it depends on what you're doing and what you're looking for. Spain as a whole is I feel at home. It's just I love the food. Barcelona, which is in the north, in Catalonia, is a beautiful city. Architecture famous for that, with great tradition. Hardworking people, industrial. A lot of business, very progressive, very, very successful place. But when you go to Madrid, which is the capital city, you also get the real flavor of Spain.
The Spaniards.
Exactly, the Castellano and the Castilian, and then you go to Sevilla, and that's the whole Andalusia, which is. When I go there and I ask my family after we visit that, normally Seville comes as a number one for mostly everybody. Yeah. After they experience the whole Spanish culture and the whole thing, I would say that Sevilla would be number one.
So what's your favorite thing to eat there?
I have a few dishes that are very simple dishes because it doesn't have to be sophisticated in my book.
I mean, you're a food guy.
I love food, and I travel and I try. First, I believe that it's a great idea what you did doing this, and very fortunate name with Wheels, Deals and Meals. Because when you're traveling, if that's all you're doing, you have to experience the whole thing. And you those three, talk about business, you in your industry with cars and all that. I think it is something that you have to do. You have to enjoy it as you travel and get to know places, get to know culture, get to know the food and the culture of a country or a city. So I would say there is a restaurant in Madrid. And as I said, very simple dish. It's called huevos rotos. And there is a place, Casa Lucio,
which is eggs broken.
Is eggs,
or broken eggs, I guess.
Broken eggs, that would be huevos rotos, broken eggs, and they come with potato, the Spanish potato, and they break the eggs, and it's just very simple. But and you know what? I try to make them. I ask people to, hey, this looks easy, but it doesn't taste the same. For as many times
that you go back and you try to make it.
You feel you ask the people.
Have you ever ate So do you like that over una tortilla española?
Yeah, well, tortilla española is a must.
Yes.
You go there, but this is
So
something.
for people that don't know that, a tortilla española is not a Mexican tortilla. It is really an omelet.
It's an omelette.
It's a big round omelet that is typically served as an appetizer, right?
As an appetizer all the time.
Typically onions and potato.
Beautiful potatoes,
And
very
but
delicious
it tastes
potato.
incredible.
It does.
There
It
isn't a
does.
place. I remember when I went to Barcelona, I would order that everywhere we went. There isn't a place that we didn't stop to eat that it was just delicious.
Yeah.
And I have tried to duplicate it a number of times, and I can't.
Yeah, between the tortilla española or the Spanish omelette and the olives that they
Yes.
give you olives
Yeah.
everywhere because you travel, you take the train and you see 'em for 2 hours, 3 hours. All you see is olive trees.
Olive trees.
And which is amazing.
What about the wine? Do you like the Spaniard wine?
Yes, I do, and it's my favorite wine. Any place in Spain is got a good Rioja or a good Ribera del Duero, and just a good Tempranillo or white with Albarino, and I mean it's just
It
when you
is.
put it all together. That's why I said okay, Spain. Has
It
to
is,
go.
and that's what I was thinking about as you were making the story, and I'm picturing it all in my mind. One of the great things about Spain is that you can go into any little hole in the wall, probably a restaurant. We're at a place in Houston called Picos, and we're in the tequila room, 6 tables more or less. You can go into any hole in the wall in Spain. That's probably 6 to 10, 12 tables, and you will have the owner talking to you, the dishes coming out, the tapas, the wine. There's also a little like shot they give you at the end. Do you remember that? In Barcelona, everywhere we went, they would give you
okay.
like this like lemon shot of something. I don't remember the name, but at the end, every restaurant would bring in like that was your last toast to the restaurant. And it's that atmosphere, that homey owner, a couple of tapas, wine, friends. You can't beat it.
And also, you can when you said the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
The whole thing is not the whole enchilada, but it's the whole experience because you have to also add to that the personality of the people you interact with.
right.
Even the owner,
And they have
the
personality.
waiter, they can be they have their own little style,
no, they
their
do,
own
they
style.
do.
But once you get there, you enjoy it because
do.
you're enjoying the whole thing.
You do. It's the whole experience, the whole enchilada. So Spain is one of your favorite places. Is that your favorite food, Spaniard food, or when it comes to
No,
food,
I'm very,
what's your favorite type of food?
I love. I think I love pastas. I love, but Spain has some special flavor that really I identify with. Obviously, Mexican food. I was born and raised in Mexico. I guess we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican, proud to be Mexican, and now just in this great country in the U.S. But I love Mexican food, obviously. And I try to,
Do you do the pasta? Do you like the pastas above Mexican or Mexican above the pasta? Don't be shy now.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't want to offend my family, and I don't want to offend my friends.
My Italian friends.
My Italian friends. No, I would say Mexican first.
Okay.
Mexican as a day, every day, and I guess.
So Mexican is kind of your go-to meal.
Yes. Yeah, Mexican is just the everyday that you enjoy. You have your favorite places like this one that we're gonna talk about,
Yeah.
like Picos. And since I got here to Houston, he's become my place, and I know them very well, and they know me well. And
This is the best
food
part of
is-
the podcast.
Yep, it is. And we're gonna enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Now, let's talk about you a little bit. Before we talk about your history, today you currently are the CEO of Lopez Dorada,
Lopez Dorada Foods.
Dorada, based in Oklahoma.
Yes.
You
that's
guys
the
have
headquarters.
9 plants?
No, we have 4 plants.
4 plants.
4 plants.
Okay,
in
so
different states.
Lopez Dorada, 4 plants around the U.S., based in Oklahoma, and you are the CEO,
Yes.
and your company does what?
Well, we are first, just been there for over a year, a little bit over a year. Um, my company, Lopez Dorada, is the largest Hispanic protein processing company in the U.S. The largest, which I'm honored and I'm proud to be part of this team, and now be leading Lopez Dorada into the next
Generation,
levels, the next
yeah.
generation, the next thing. And yes, so and just proudly Hispanic company, Hispanic owned, minority owned, and we manufacture food, meaning beef, pork, and poultry for the QSR or the quick service restaurant, several of the
So
quick
you're
service
processing
restaurants.
beef, chicken, and pork
Yes.
for the not the quick. I'm talking automotive now. For the quick food industry.
For the quick service restaurant.
Okay, McDonald's.
McDonald's is one of the customers.
I don't know if we can name them, but
Oh yes,
Yeah,
they
so
are. McDonald's
McDonald's,
is one,
Burger King.
Starbucks, Burger King, and we also have manufactured and had for one of the largest retail chains in the U.S.
okay.
So just that's what
So-
that we do too.
So your company processes meat, all the meat that we eat. I ate at McDonald's Friday, I think. My son and I would need to get something quick, and the go-to is McDonald's, right? So what do you make for these companies? Are you making hamburgers, patties?
Yeah, the patties, the beef patties. We do the sausage, the pork sausage. We do nuggets, chicken nuggets. We do in this the chicken McChicken patties, and also other products for other customers. But pretty much that's what when you go to a restaurant. We don't do anything out of the whatever product that you have in these restaurants.
Right.
Some of it, especially the protein piece, we manufacture that.
Wow, incredible. 4 plants. How many employees?
Over around 2,200.
Incredible.
2,200 in the 4 plants. We have, as I said, you said, based on our office is based out of Oklahoma. We have the oldest and the largest plant out of Oklahoma City. Then we have one in Ponca City in the border with Kansas. We have another plant that is chicken in North Carolina, and then one plant that is pork out of Iowa, in Cherokee, Iowa. And that's our business. And it's
I
been
imagine that in a business like yours, right? Everybody has quality control, right? Every business has quality control. But in your world, that's got to be one of the most important positions there is the quality control of meat.
no question about it. And I would go, a little bit further. That quality in everything we do, because end of the day you have a final product. But there's if and you've been okay. What's your favorite? In our conversation, the food and the places. When you enter, when you are in this industry, especially, 3 words that immediately come to my mind. That's is you mentioned, you asked, is people. Okay, just having good people, trained people, happy people, excited people, motivated people. Then quality in everything we do. Every single step of the process has to be with quality. That as a result, you have a very high quality product for our
Because you
customers.
have to be consistent.
Consistent every day. There's in supply chain, and they call it practically the daily miracle.
Right. Yeah,
That
because
happens, the daily
I
miracle.
can't go to McDonald's tomorrow and go, wow, this tastes different. Right?
Or,
it's got to be
or any
consistent.
or any other company. Just like, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
It's consistency, quality, and then the third word that we tried, and it's part of our motto, and what we try to do is do it correctly, do it right the first time. I mean,
It saves
get
time when you do
ready.
it right the first time.
It saves time, but you're making sure that there's that what you offering, and that's what we offer finally to our customers, because there is a final consumer that is enjoying that every day, 24 hours a day.
Right.
So
There is.
it's been for me it's been fascinating, and I'm very happy and I say it's honored uh, to be now. There's something that in the industry is called the three-legged stool. That stool that needs three legs to be standing and be strong, and that is in the food industry, the quick service restaurant industry, is called the three components are franchisees when it's a franchise business, company, uh, employees or the company, and then the supply chain piece. And that's something, and I can tell you, as my friend, I'm very proud to say that I've been a part of the three-legged stool. I don't know how many
which-
people are
Yeah,
have
I don't know
been
how many
in
people
those
have
in
said
those
that.
three.
Which also makes you a great leader, right? Because you know the needs of each one.
Yes, well, you have participated, you have experience. Yeah, I started my career in the cube in a hospitality service restaurant industry.
So let's talk
Actually,
about that.
30 years ago.
How did you get in the restaurant business? What was your first job in the restaurant business?
Yes, well,
Where did Pancho Gonzalez start this?
I am from a place, a state, a province in Mexico. It's Tabasco, Mexico, in the southeast of Tabasco, near in the Gulf of Mexico. I was born and raised there, and had a chance to go out. I went to Canada for college, and they came back to my hometown, and at some point of time, I wanted to do something different, and then I started looking for something that you want to go with a big one. You want to go with a company that that you believe is gonna take you to that next step. So I applied. I applied to be a McDonald's franchisee in Mexico.
Okay.
That was a long process that I had to do a lot of things and try to to get capital and all that that adventure, and that happened 30 years ago. Actually, September 14, 1993. It's going to be 30
So
years.
30 years ago in Tabasco,
In Tabasco, Mexico,
you opened your
I
first.
applied and I opened my first McDonald's restaurant in Villahermosa.
And that was the
Villahermosa,
first time
Tabasco.
you were a owner of.
That was the first time I didn't work for the company. I came directly as a franchisee for what is called today the oil and gas area, and I had the franchise agreement for the oil and gas area. I had 3 cities and 3 states south of
Okay,
Veracruz.
wait a minute. So you become a franchise owner. You have one McDonald's.
Yes,
Then how many years did you do that?
8 years.
8 years just to one McDonald's.
No, 8 years that I opened 5 different restaurants.
So 8 years. In 8 years, you opened 5 McDonald's,
5 McDonald's in 3 different states, in 3 different cities,
all in Mexico.
all in Mexico.
Okay, that's phenomenal. I
Yes.
mean, that's almost one a year. Okay, so 8 restaurants. I mean, 5 restaurants now. Now, what do you do? Year 8. What's the next thing?
Yes, well, I as being a franchisee, I became president for all the franchisees, for all the McDonald's franchisees in Mexico, in the country.
Okay,
Very.
so now working for corporate, still owning your
still
5.
owning my 5. But
Now you're
being
the president of the
representing
association.
of the Association of Franchisees in Mexico. Very involved with company activities. We got to know we got to know each other. So very involved. In 2000, year 2000, I was awarded. I won something that is the most important award that I believe that I won in my life. It's called the Golden Arch Award. Golden Arch Award winner is given every other year, every 2 years, to at least in my time, 25 to 26 franchisees around the world. And I got that award in 2000,
The Golden
Arch Award, the most important
It
recognition.
sounds prestigious already, especially at
yes.
McDonald's, world, right?
Yes, it is the most important recognition in the franchisee world of McDonald's.
Right, right.
In
And so you
McDonald's.
got that.
And right after that, for some reason, I started getting invited to different dinners and people talking to me if I had ever considered the possibility of becoming a McDonald's employee.
Okay. And so
And
what's
in
next?
order to do that,
You gotta
I
sell.
had to sell that because I couldn't be.
Right.
That was part of it. Would be a conflict. And then in 2002, I ran my restaurants until December 31st of 2001 with a deal already
Uh-huh.
on December 31. And then January 3rd of 2002, I was already a VP for the company. They put me in this fast track
So you
program.
had sold the restaurants already with the date,
Yes.
right? And so same guy bought all your restaurants?
Same person.
Okay, so
Approved person.
So this company you built for 8 years, now corporate wants you. You make a deal with somebody to buy your stores out.
Correct.
You stay there until the date that you agreed to.
Yes.
And 3 days later, you start as vice
I was
president.
working in Venezuela, in Caracas.
They moved you to Venezuela?
Just as it was a fast track. It was a training program to get me to know the corporate side.
Okay.
Because I knew very well the franchisee side.
Okay.
So that took me to Venezuela, to Brazil, in Sao Paulo, Argentina for some time, and also the headquarters that for McDonald's were at that time in Oak Brook, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. And then I took the position 7 months later. 8 months later, I took the position as a VP of Operations for Mexico, and that was the next step.
Wow. So you open one store, then within 8 years, 5, you become the president of the Association of the Franchisees,
Correct.
and then you sell the business, go into corporate, become vice president of all those franchisees in the country of
Correct.
Mexico.
Correct.
That's phenomenal. And from the time you bought it to the time you became VP, how many years? 8, 9?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, 8
which
years.
is really
exactly.
incredible. Okay. Well, now you're VP of Mexico, and now what's next?
I became, just 3 years later, I was promoted to VP of Operations for Mexico and Central America. So they gave me 6 more countries. That included, except for Belize, but I had Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama.
How many stores?
There were total around 500 restaurants.
Okay.
500 restaurants
lot.
It's a lot, but just
And a lot spread out in a lot of countries.
yes. And the important part about this and as education and development is that you had not only the borders, you have different currencies. You have lempiras, you have colons, you have quetzales, you have pesos, you have dollar, US dollar. So, and different import-export laws that you have to deal with. That's kind of a master's degree on that, on trading
on logistics and international
logistic and
trade.
international trade. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I came back. After that, I became the managing director or the president for McDonald's Mexico,
Okay.
for managing director for McDonald's for the entire country.
Okay.
Before I moved to the U.S. and McDonald's brought me to the U.S. to Chicago.
So you become president of the McDonald's
Mexico managing director.
management director.
Yes.
And then they promote you and you move to the U.S.
Yes.
To Houston?
No, I went to Chicago first.
Okay.
As a VP of franchising and operations.
Okay.
For the greater Chicago region where the
Okay.
headquarters are.
Uh-huh.
3 years there. Then they moved me to VP and general manager for Great Lakes or Michigan region at that time.
Okay.
Moved to Michigan. I worked in Indianapolis before Chicago, getting me acclimated to the U.S. for a period of 7 months, something like that. And then after Michigan, I came with the same position, larger region. I came to Houston. That's how I got to Houston, and I ran McDonald's, the Houston region. I met my wife here, and I decided
me.
that I met you and many other people.
I mean, I'm not at the level.
Got
I'm
involved.
not at the level of your wife, but you met me.
I got involved with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I stayed here. And I decided to stay in Houston. That I wanted to live in Houston.
And then from there, you left McDonald's, right?
Yes.
And then you went to work for,
Went to work for Inspire Brands.
which
and,
are they the largest?
they're the second. I understand that they're the second largest chain in the U.S. after McDonald's, and they own Sonic, they own Arby's, Jimmy John's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Dunkin' Donuts, and Baskin Robbins.
And your position with them there
And
was,
then I became the Vice President for the Americas. So I have come from Canada all the way to Mexico, Central America, South America, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean.
almost nothing.
Almost
A
nothing.
fourth of the world.
Yeah,
It's not in
six,
population, it's probably a third of the world.
Yeah, 16 countries.
Yeah.
16 countries that I was responsible for. And I had just as a development, it was a great experience. But, that put me more brands and knowledge about different systems and different brands. And finally, I got a call from a good friend asking me about this position I have today
At Lopez.
and Lopez Dorada. And, that was the change that I took 13 months ago.
And in this whole span, so 30 years, right? When you start buying your first franchise to today as CEO, it took 30 years, right?
Correct.
We talk about this in the podcast all the time, and I hope I'm not hammering it too much, but I think I think there's so many young people today with such great talent, but one of the things that I think social media, the internet, things that happen fast, has messed up the young people is that they want everything now, right? If
Very
the internet is too slow, it's, oh my God. And you and I were in dial. We didn't, first of all, when we started, there was no internet. And when we got internet, it was dial up, right? And you had to sit there and wait for the little dots to go through to finally sign in. One of the things that I'm hoping that people hear over and over consistently from everybody that we've interviewed, whether it's restaurant guys, automotive guys, is that today's youth, talented, great young people are great, but they're missing the realization that to get to be Pancho Gonzalez took 30 years. It didn't happen year one, or
No.
2, or
Or
8,
5.
or 15, right? It took 30 years. I've been in this business for 32 years.
There you are.
32 years to get to that point, right? So if you're talking to a young person today, we all make mistakes and we all make good decisions, right? So you've made good ones, you've made bad ones. From your experience, if you're talking to somebody today that wants to get in the restaurant business or any business, what is your advice to them? What is 3 things that you can tell that young person?
Yes. Well, first, I would say, based on that, your comment about 30 years. It could be faster, it could be, but it takes time. It's very hard, and I don't know anybody that I know personally that can go from point A to point Z in one direction, right? Very hard. So it's what I call the tree of the decision logic tree, that sometimes you have to take laterals. You have to then to get to the following point, to the B and to the C. So it takes time. Always when I talk to people, and not only Hispanic but in general, and it sounds like a cliche, but I don't think it is. I believe it is. It can sound simple, that there's the difference. First, I normally mention 4 points. One is work hard and say, well, okay, that's kind of obvious, right? No, work hard, forget results. Get the expected, meet and or exceed, preferably exceed the results or the expectations that somebody in your career has. That's the first one. You have to work, and it doesn't happen in a year, it doesn't happen in 5 years. You have to be patient, and you have to be doing things, and maybe you can move, but always don't lose the north. You need to know and you don't know exactly where you're gonna land in that journey, but you kind of know that you want something else and bigger and better for you, for your family, professionally, etc. Right. That's the first one. The second that I find is you have to take some risk. and you have to get out of your comfort zone. And I'll give you an example, a very classic example. I relocated in those 30 years. I relocated 9 times. I moved. I lived in 11 temporary houses. So you have to take some risk and say, I'm gonna do it, even though you have to jump into the river if you wanna get to the other side of the river and swim.
Yeah.
Swim. You'll get help and you'll get tired.
Take
but
a chance.
Take a chance. Take the risk. Take the chance. That's the second. Third, that is very, very important. I mean, the four for me have worked, and they are very important. The third, take every single chance that you have for development. And development doesn't necessarily mean academic, just degrees or whatever. Take any single chance of development or education, meaning workshops. Somebody says, a friend of mine says, be and become a student of your business, of your industry. Study, see what happens. You have to be aware that what is going on, what is happening, what's the next thing, who's doing something that is worth following. And the fourth, that with no question is going to help you, is create a network. The networking, and some people do it better. And I don't know, to be honest, if that is cultural or is something, but create a network. I call it, you need to have, and you don't know that, but you're part of that, my private board of directors, my personal board of directors, people that you can go and check. This is what I'm thinking, that people can tell you, you know what, you're crazy, or try it, or you never know when somebody's gonna say, oh, I know Arnold, I know Pancho, yes, they're good. So creating that network, 100%. People underestimate that fourth piece, that is critical.
That is so true. You can't be in a room, right? You got to be out.
Yes.
Meeting people, networking, to be successful. Pancho, you are successful. You're a great friend. I hope people get a lot out of this podcast. Thank you for those 4 points, for your history, for all we've talked about. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to end this at the bar with a little tequila toast when we come back. All right, so we wanted to end the show today with showing the background of this great bar here at Picos. Of course, my friend and expert in tequila, but he's never given me these stories until today, is going to give us a little story about this tequila. So, Pancho, what's the story about this tequila?
Thank you. Well, we tasted, we tried some very good tequila with Monica here. And Monica Richards, she's amazing. She's the expert. I just like tequila and enjoy tequila. This is Clase Azul, and the first time I had it, I love the story about, apparently, the owner of Clase Azul. This is a reposado. It's not an añejo, it's a reposado. And the owner, he said to his sister, you know what, we're going to be producing great tequila, great quality, but we need to have something that is distinctive. The bottle, give me something. She's a designer, I understand, or she was a designer. Bring me something that is unique, that will make people, remember, that will be memorable, but also that is relevant for the people. So with Clase Azul Reposado, first she came with the idea. She came with this, that the shape of the bottle, if you put it backwards, upside down, you can see that it's a leg. It can be a table leg. It's a table leg for one of those very classic wooden Mexican tables.
Okay. So this would be like in the kitchen of a Mexican home.
Yes, or a Spanish influence Mexican table leg. So that's the first thing. I said, okay, that's good. That's a good first step. Second is the design of the bottle. This is Talavera Mexicana. This is Talavera, and Talavera is a ceramic, a special kind with the denomination of origin. It has to be called Talavera. It has to be from Puebla, Mexico.
So this is made from the stuff in Puebla.
Yes, and it cannot be made to be called Talavera. And I understand you can see all that in the bottle.
Okay.
That the DO, the denomination of origin, that is real from Puebla. And then finally, there's a beautiful, the design, the blue and the white, It's called Clase Azul. You're gonna find different bottles. But this one, all the bottles do the same. When you're having fun, when you're enjoying a good tequila, a good company with a friend, you can also say and do. That's when you call more. I want more tequila, or I'm having
A good time.
very good time.
Ring the bell.
So that I like the story, and I stay with it, and I love the tequila. It's great quality, and something that you can also get here at Pico.
Great, let's taste it. Let's do it. We'll be tequila out. Our director will have to drive us home. Pancho, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being part of my life.
Salud.
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 All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to enjoy this food. We're going to have Monica Richards join us, who is the director of this restaurant, also the daughter of Arnaldo Richards, the owner of Picos here in Houston, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about what we have here.
Thank you for listening to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, your main source for all things good and fun, business, food, and cars. If you like this episode, make sure to rate us and subscribe. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please leave a message at the link below. Till next time, happy eating!